What's up guys, this is Ray, welcome to Asia Filmist, and today we'll be talking about the 2015 Japanese film April Fools, directed by Ishikawa Junichi and starring Matsuzaka Tori and Toda Erika. Story of April Fools, well, it happens as you can tell on April Fool's Day, April 1st. And in this story, on April Fools, it is said that you can tell a lie and be forgiven. You can get away with it. At least that's the concept of April Fools in this story. And here we have about seven separate stories that are kind of intertwined but kind of not. But each story is centered around someone or, some people telling a lie. And we got a variety of different characters in this story. We got a girl who got knocked up by this guy who's addicted to sex. We have an elderly couple who gets driven around by a chauffeur and they prance around as these upper class elites. We even got a guy who confesses to his best friend that he's gay. So we got we have a variety of characters, as I said, and each story kind of they start off with a lie and you kind of see what happens from that point. And yeah, usually when it comes to movies that feature an ensemble cast, it's not usually my favorite type of movie to dive into. So when this movie came out in theaters, I didn't check it out. I instead rented it on DVD when it came out sometime later. And yeah, it was fine. Long story short, it was fine. When it comes to the positives of the story, I think this movie had a lot of entertainment value in it. As I said, this movie features about 7 stories, and each story is loaded with a lot of heart. There's a lot of emotional impact in each of these stories, and this movie teeters back and forth between comedy and drama. When it features comedy, you'll be guaranteed to smile, and when it dives into its drama tropes, you're probably gonna cry. But it teeters back and forth. But no matter what, I'm pretty sure you'll be smiling with the amount of charm that this movie gives off. And with the cast, as I said, this is a mega ensemble cast. There are a lot of people featured in the story, but the main cast, I like the main cast a lot. We have Matsuzaka Tori and Toda Erika as the sex addict and the girl he knocks up respectively. But I gotta say, my favorite cast member is Terashima Susumu, who plays a yakuza who kidnaps a young girl. You don't know for exactly why, but his character for me was the most entertaining. He's this over-the-top hammy gangster who just picks on his little gangster brother. And his story arc was actually quite fun to watch because you have no idea really what he's up to when everything unravels towards the end of his arc. I think it hits you a lot. It hits you pretty hard. You get a lot of small surprise appearances in the supporting cast, like Ozawa Yukiyoshi, who, if you ever seen on YouTube, the Long Man candy commercial, just look it up on YouTube, Long Man. It's a hilarious, 7-minute series of commercials that center around this gummy candy. But yeah, he's the Long Man, and he's in this movie. And you even get, you look at, going back to Terashima Susumu's gangster story, there's a surprise appearance by Sonny Chiba. It's like, what the hell is that, Sonny Chiba? I also kind of like the way the stories intersect. They don't follow like a single plot line. There's no mutual end game for all these stories, but these stories do intersect in, I think, a pretty interesting and creative way, or multiple interesting and creative ways. It's like the characters drop in and out of each other's storylines, and I think it was fun. It's not like you don't have like episode after episode after episode, which would have been terrible for this movie. So I think the choice to have them intersect with each other in small ways was a good choice. And when it comes to the negatives of April Fools, tonally, it's very inconsistent. As I mentioned earlier, this movie features tropes of both comedies and dramas, and when it dives into the comedy tropes, you smile. I mean, you don't do side-splitting laughs. It's not that kind of comedy, but it is the kind of comedy that will make you feel good. That'll make you smile. Maybe you'll get a giggle or two. But when it comes to the drama, it really hits you. I think this movie is meant to be made more of a drama with some comedic elements, as opposed to the reverse, a comedy with dramatic elements. And yeah, this movie, it can get very extreme when it dives into either territory, especially with the drama. A lot of things just come out of left field, and you might be left in tears. And also, there are too many characters in the story. I mean, it's a mega ensemble cast, 7 stories. But you know, about 2 or 3 of the stories, they kind of get put off into the background. Like one of them just kind of has like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes of total screen time, and then you kind of forget about it until the end. But I'd say about 2 or 3 stories are kind of just supporting stories, if you will. They're kind of in there, and you know, they're meant to kind of further paint out this world. But you know, because of all these stories, you kind of the smaller stories are easy to forget and easy to stop caring about. And it's mainly meant, I want to say, for the stories that feature the bigger stars to get more screen time. And also, and lastly, this movie kind of misses the point on April Fool's. Yeah, sure, April Fool's is a day where you can tell a lie and get away with it. But what this movie kind of misses the point on is that these lies are meant to be jokes and pranks. I think there are only like 1 or 2 stories that center on a lie that is actually a prank of sorts. But for the most part, each of the majority of the lies that are told in this movie are meant to cover up some kind of tragic backstory, if you will. And that's kind of the purpose, that's the source of the tension, the source of the drama in this story. Yeah, this movie has some good intentions, but yeah, like I said, kind of misses the point of what April Fool's actually is. You know, I think that's the case with a lot of imported holidays, imported ideas and days that go to Japan. They kind of get remixed a little bit to kind of fit the narrative of the culture. But overall, what do I have to say about April Fool's? You know, it's a fun movie, you know, but it does suffer from a lot of the things that mega ensemble movies usually suffer from, like underdeveloped or underrepresented characters. That's just something that this movie has and it can't escape from, especially with the ambition featuring all these cast members. And as I said, it's totally inconsistent. You know, it starts off as, you know, a zany comedy with weird characters and weird setups, but then quickly dives into super dramatic plot points that'll hit you in the gut when you're not expecting it. You know, for some people that might be okay. Some people, you know, totally dig just these super dramatic plot points. You know, I do personally, but I can see how the tonal inconsistency can turn off a lot of people. And, you know, I'd half recommend this movie because, you know, while it's fun to watch, you won't be losing any sleep if you miss out on it. But yes, those are my thoughts on April Fool's. If you guys have seen it, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And if you really dig my content, please know you can support Asia Filmless via Patreon from as little as $1. And yeah, that's about it for me, guys. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope to catch you all again in the next video. Take it easy.